This is Barbas, just doing God's work.
Dante, get out of there! You're in danger!
Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my DMC, Dante Must Die Difficulty video walkthrough. This is mission 2, and it's called Home Truths. So this is probably the longest mission of the game, which I found really strange considering it's the second one. And the pacing, for the most, in this new Devilmaycry is pretty good. A couple of moments there hit or miss and strange. The biggest problem that I found was the bosses. Like, they have this hunter character that they make this massive amount of fuss that he's hunting you, he's found you, that they've sent this demon to hunt you. Like, why were there not several different kinds of hunters? Why were there not 3? You know, a band of hunters, each one with a different weapon and a slightly different looks, just to give us more boss fights. And the boss fight could have been identical, just with a different attacking weapon. But it would have lived up to you know, how Capcom did Devilmaycry. They put bosses in there all the time. Bosses when they weren't even necessary, just for the sake of an extra boss. I love bosses. I love these games because of bosses, and this game has a significant lack of them. And it doesn't seem very, very smart to me. The one that caught me the most was towards the end of the game. You know that Mundus is the enemy of the game. I thought you would fight him in human form, you know, a one-on-one, mano-a-mano type fight, and then I thought you would fight a giant form, because that tends to be the stick, doesn't it, with these kind of games. But it doesn't. They just throw this giant skyscraper-sized monster at you that's practically a quick-time event with an invade, and that's it. And I don't know, guys. I like this game a lot. I think it's fun. I think people are going to enjoy it. But I do think they've made it some... Oh god, here we go. I need to talk about these guys. This is a Dream Runner. There's an advanced version of this that's got a red mask. I think he's called like a Davanakin or something daft. I can't remember his name. I'd just call him Davenport or something silly. Like Dave Mirror. I don't even know. But this thing is a nuisance. This is the Blitz slash Shadow slash... I don't know, Fallen, maybe Fallen equivalent. This is whatever enemy you didn't like on previous Devilmaycrys, this is the one on this one. He can counter every single thing you do and reflect damage back. He evades, he dodges, he's very difficult to get any kind of damage on, he teleports. He's a pain in the dick. Easiest way to kill him if you've got Devil Trigger is to use it. If you don't, the strategy I use is to keep your distance from him, lure him into doing the teleport, and then capitalise on the counter-attack. You're going to see a much better example of that kind of fight against those, because you're going to fight them much more frequently, and they're a pain in the ass. There's nothing else that can be said. You think you've stunned them, you're going in for a massive hit, and he just counters it, and you didn't evade because you thought you had him dead to rights. It's very frustrating. This here is an Elemental Rage. I think they're called Hell Rages or something like that. You'll notice that they look red to tell you that they are the demon element, but if I stop holding the right trigger they will go transparent, because you can only hurt them when using demon weapons, and I personally think that is one of the worst parts of this game, because I hate the fact they've segregated certain enemies to certain weapons, because you get to the point where you feel like you're using the same attacks over and over and over again. And that makes me feel uncomfortable when I play Devilmaycrys, because I like to mix it up. I like to use all the different abilities. I don't like to find, you know, the one combo that wins and just use that. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I'm damage racing a boss, I'm going to use Arbiter, because Arbiter is a monster of a machine. I'm going to Demon Dodge, and then I'm going to do the Trinity Smash, or whatever it's called, because it just does stupid damage. But when I'm in a fight against, you know, standard Stygians like these guys, you want to have some fun. You don't want to be limited to just using one weapon. And ooh, you see that there? That was me getting hit and still evading and getting the Demon Dodge, which is quite strange. But for anybody who doesn't recognise these teal-coloured blue Stygians, they're elite. They're the hardest version of the standard enemies you fight. And you fight them on Nephilim, I believe, outside Mundus' headquarters on like Mission 17. But you'll notice in the previous video, they were there on the beach. So Dante Must Die definitely introduces the harder enemies earlier, but that's not too much of a problem, because as you can see, I am getting tagged, I'm getting hit left, right and centre, but that's just because I'm new with the game and I'm lazy at this moment in time. That right there is me waiting for them to attack, and as you can see, the aggression of the enemies, even on this difficulty, is a little bit, you know, lacking. And I don't know what to think about that, because there's sometimes when the enemies attack all the times, there's other times when they don't attack at all. It seems to be very strange. Don't really get it, but a couple of devil-triggered guys here. As you can see, difficult to launch, but you can jump cancel them, so make the most of that. These are two Osiris or Angel Arm Frost Knights, I think they're called. One annoying thing about these guys is they can block, and if you do the charge on the Aquila, which I've just done there, if they shield it and you're close to them, they can damage you with it, which is hilarious watching you get stun locked. This is me jumping off the top of that guy's head, but I didn't juggle him. And I'm trying to get him up here, but it's not working at all. So I switched to the Osiris, and he's already fallen out of it, so I missed my opportunity. But yeah, jump cancelling the Aquila can be quite difficult, just because it's very fast, and you need to have them at a good distance from your body. If you're higher than them, you'll just not get anything, and you'll just look silly like I did a moment ago. But you can always swap to the Osiris and play around with that instead. If you do enjoy being in the air, which can be fun at times, I prefer fighting on the ground for the most on this game though. Just because when I get into the air I find myself using the same combination of moves, and then I'll try and jump cancel too much and end up dropping them and things like that. But you are safer the higher you go, so that's a good strategy to get into, you know, lifting somebody who you don't like up. In the big fights, where there's a ton of different enemies, the best strategy is always to go for the one that you're least confident with. The priorities for me are those Dream Runners that you just saw me kill. Oh, sorry, I tell a lie with that. The Dream Runners are the exception of the case. If you have a bunch of Stygians and a Dream Runner, kill the Stygians and then go for the Dream Runner, because he's a dick. Focusing on him, you're just going to get hit by the lesser minions, and it's just going to really frustrate you. Everything else, focus on the thing that you don't like. Witches are a good one. If ever a witch turns up, you need to focus on her, because she's going to shield the enemies if you try and kill them, and she's a pain in the ass. She's a massive pain in the ass. Between the witches and the Dream Runners, I think I like every other enemy on this game. I even don't mind the flying stuff, because I understand them, but the witches and Dream Runners, absolute pains in the ass. But look at me, just showing you how not to play Devilmaycry. And anybody that didn't see the first video and is wondering if you've caught it, I am using Gold Osiris, Gold Arbiter, Gold Revenant, which is the shotgun, and I think I might be using Gold Osiris, I'm not entirely sure. That move right there is the Trinity attack with Arbiter. To do that, you do 2 Ys, you wait a second, and then you follow up with Y. And when he hits the axe into the ground, it does a triple like repulsion of this shockwave on the ground, and if it touches anything, it does ridiculous damage. That is a challenging move to dodge. Whenever they glow white, they're going to do a stinger attack, in effect, and dodging it can be very difficult. But now we've been transported into, you know, Super Limbo, wherever the hell this place is. I have absolutely no idea what this statue's supposed to mean. I assume it's just fancy level design, because I had a feeling that we were unshackling some kind of demon and we were going to, you know, live to regret it, but it almost seems like the statue is a metaphor for Dante's powers, or for Dante's, you know, inner abilities. And I was thinking that, you know, you'd unshackle everything and you'd unlock his true potential, but then it turns out you end up finding Devil Trigger from, you know, some hobo in hell. It's like, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's funny nonetheless. These are the cherub guys. They throw grenades. You need to get out of that radius. I thought I was out of it just then. I wasn't, and you'll notice it did damage me quite a lot. But damage-wise, I think they've got the amount of damage that the enemies do. I think they got it wrong on this game. They don't do enough. The only enemies that do enough damage are the big fat guys, the big fat dudes who remind me of Shredder's pal. I can't remember who Shredder's friend was called in, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was the brain that sat inside the giant guy. There's an enemy that looks like him. It's a face in a globe on his belly, a little bit like, is it Kuato from Total Recall? And he's got 2 circular swords for arms. and he does some serious damage. There's also the brutes. I can't remember if they're actually called brutes, but they're just the big lumbering dudes. They do a lot of damage as well. But everything else, pretty manageable. And this isn't even max life. I think I'm going to be able to get 2 or 3 extra bars of health. One thing I don't think this game will do is give you more than 1 full bar. I don't think we're going to have 2 full bars of life on this one, which is a bit of a shame, because I did like it how you had 2 bars. But the enemies, you know, they need as much help as they can now killing you, so if you had 2 bars, it'd probably be unbalanced for them. That beeping there, if you can hear it, that is the item finder. And it's going to come in handy when I try and find all the lost souls and things, because a lot of them aren't that well hidden. Yeah, I found a whole bunch, but some of them are much more challenging to find, which is cool, because I do like when there's a lot of replay value.
What the hell happened?
One thing I am curious about is, why is everything covered in this black, you know, crystalline stuff? It reminds me of Darksiders 2, and things that remind me of Darksiders 2 make me sad. Oh, this is funny. So, one thing that really frustrates me on this game is how often you fight in environments where you can fall to your death or you can take environmental damage. And from a designer's perspective, it's additional challenge and it's interesting. But from a player's perspective, it's annoying as hell. Especially when I'm trying to kill these birds and I'm swinging around on my weapon and falling off all the time. So, you're going to notice, look at this. Who thinks this is fun? I don't get that, so instead of going over there, I let them come to me. And watch how fast my life regenerates when I use Devil Trigger. This is another thing they've done wrong. Your life comes back way too quick. It's almost silly for how long the Devil Trigger starts to last. But then again, I hate the Devil Trigger on this game, guys, if I'm honest. And I'm always honest. The reason for it is, it launches everybody, and every single attack that's got knockback seems to knock things flying several miles more than they used to, so you spend more time chasing enemies than you do beating them up, and it completely kills the rhythm of the combat. I do not know what the hell they were thinking, but it's probably the worst design choice since, you know, Devilmaycry 2. But every time you come to these pictures, it's going to warp you into the special world, and you generally do a couple of fights before and after, but you're going to see that in the next video, guys. Thank you for watching, and you take care now.